Hello there. This is my first video of 2025, and as you can see, I'm outside. I'm out in the countryside, going for a bit of a walk. So what I wanted to talk about today is a bit of a difficult subject. I've noticed recently a rise certainly on my YouTube feed, of videos about women, how women are all crap, this MGTOW stuff, and then the opposite of sort of videos about how men are crap. So this strikes me as pretty unhealthy, really. Not something that is indicative of a healthy society. So, a lot of the women, the videos about women are about, how women are judgmental, don't want to engage with men unless they've got a lot of money, how unfair it is, how it's impossible to get in a relationship, etc. And so women are making similar type videos, but there's also sort of videos complaining about men in terms of violence as well. Well, obviously violence is a big problem in society, but I thought I'd look into this a bit about how true these allegations are. One video I've seen recently is about this terrible atrocity of this poor French woman who was basically abused by her husband through drugging and encouraging all kinds of reprobates, all kinds of fellas to sleep with her, which is utterly disgusting. So, some of these sort of misandrous videos are suggesting that, because of this one incident, men, are all scum and, need to be dealt with. But this is just one incident, what you'd call anecdotal evidence, really. The same applies with, there was an Asian man in the UK. He was, I think it was 280 men that he drugged and raped. So, based on what this woman had said, that infers that, Asian men are dangerous, that gay men are dangerous and a danger to straight men and other gay men, and that doesn't follow through. That's just one instance of one guy who happened to be an Asian and happened to be gay. So it really doesn't mean anything in real terms. Another case I could cite is the nurse in the UK, I think, who killed loads of people. Are we to conclude from that female nurses are evil murderers? No, it was a one-off isolated incident, just like all these other incidents, which are only proof that there are very bad people out there. None of these cases are statistically significant as far as general human behavior is concerned. These isolated incidents are just indicative that some people are just either evil or crazy or perhaps both, and inclined to violent behavior. If you look at how people actually behave, yes, there's violence against women, there's violence against men from men, there's violence against children too, unfortunately, but there's also violence of women against men, which is 90% underreported according to sort of state agencies, and violence against other women and violence against children. So if you look at the whole picture and you include the sort of underreporting for whatever reasons it exists, you get a more complex situation. which I think the only thing you can really conclude is that there are some very, very bad people out there, both men and women, and that humans are inclined towards violent behaviour on occasion. And it isn't down to one particular gender or another. This is throughout human society. Both men and women act violently towards their own gender, towards the opposite gender, and towards children as well, which is really, really awful. Which brings me to, the title of this piece. I mean, humans are violent. They're violent by nature. This is self-evident. People argue about nature, nurture, all this philosophical crap, but basically it's obvious from the entirety of human history that we are a violent species. We are violent by nature. There's a few other species, the most obvious one being the chimpanzee, which is also a primate like us. They're known to beat, to rape, and to murder other chimpanzees for no apparent reason, just because they feel like it. Orca whales and dolphins, which are, mammals too, but obviously aquatic mammals, they also do the same thing, unfortunately. And the one thing that seems to be connecting these four quite different species is we're quite intelligent enough to have feelings of hatred, dislike, envy, etc., which perhaps some of the lower order of animals don't possess. Maybe they're innately less aggressive, less violent. Who actually knows what the answer is? But one thing is true about humans. We're not all violent. And if you look at the statistics of violence, you'll find it's correlated to economic and educational factors. So basically, people who are poor are more likely to be violent. The people who are not particularly well educated or particularly intelligent are more likely to be violent. I mean, some people will be balking at this and absolutely disgusted at me saying such things, but the evidence is there to support this. So, if you want to have a society that's less violent, less aggressive, perhaps the answer isn't to blame men or to blame women, but to blame how we educate our children. I know from my own personal experience and experience of many other people's children that children are violent. They have to be taught to be non-violent. Their first inclination is to hit each other and to mistreat each other. When they want something, they just take it. They just take it off the other child. They don't think about other people. I mean, children are basically narcissistic when they're very small, and they think nothing of slapping another child. They have to be taught not to do this. And I mean, the good thing is that children can be educated. They can be taught to behave properly, to behave well, to have respect for other human beings and not slap the hell out of each other, or at later stages, perhaps even kill each other. That's what happens with violent individuals as they get older. They graduate from slapping to perhaps rape or murder. But a lot of this is down to, obviously, economic disparity and also availability of opportunity in education. And when I say education, it's not just learning maths and, English and whatever, social things that they teach in school now. I'm really talking about basic fundamentals of how you how you treat other humans. Respect, really, I suppose, education in respect for other people. So if you get those fundamentals right, I think most people will not be inclined to be violent or to behave in a criminal way. But you know, all the misandrists out there, the woke mob particularly, and then the sort of misogynists would tend to have you believe that it's the opposite gender that's to blame for everything. And that really just isn't the case. I think it's a failure of humanity in general to instill proper values in children. That's not always the fault of the parents, but I would say in most cases that is the problem. And this is exacerbated by lack of attention, allowing the TV, the phone, the tablet, etc., to computer, video games, to bring up your children for you instead of actually putting in the hard work yourself. If you want your children to behave well, you have to teach them. So I would say ignore all this nonsense. It's just clickbait, a lot of it. And really, what we should do is make more effort. So that's it, really. If you have any thoughts on this, feel free to leave a comment. So I would encourage you not to listen to either camp of misandry or misogyny. All it does is just create more anger and division, really, and make people more divided, more angry, more upset. It doesn't actually offer any real solutions by throwing blame at the other half of humanity. So, yeah, I very much believe that the solution is down to the values that we teach to the next generation. So anyway, that's it, all I've got to say for now. And I'd encourage you to stay away from these very negative, clickbaity videos that, you know, they sort of draw you in with these punchy titles, but really they're just exacerbating what is already quite a serious problem in modern society. Okay, thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed already, perhaps think about that and click the like button if you like my video, please. I'd very much appreciate that. Thanks for watching.